I accidentally found out that my two newborn sons cry whenever they see me, but the moment they're near my mother-in-law, they fall quiet at once. Faced with such strangeness, I didn't panic. Instead, I smiled, cause I was reborn. In my previous life, right after I gave birth, my father-in-law told me my husband had passed away in a car accident. I believed him. I worked desperately on my own, raised my two sons, and even sent them to Harvard University. But on the day of their admission banquet, the husband who had been gone for 20 years suddenly appeared with his mistress. He even announced in public that the mistress was the boy's biological mother. I froze on the spot, seeing the cold expressions in my son's eyes. I finally understood. This had been a scheme from the very beginning. Even more ironically, they had long joined forces with my husband to transfer away all my assets. I collapsed from the shock and anger. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day I gave birth. This time, I didn't expose them. Instead, I pretended to know nothing. I acted heartbroken and told my mother-in-law that I would raise the children on my own, thinking their plan had succeeded. They let their guard down, but while they were taking a nap, I made a decision that would change everything. 10 years later, I personally sent both of my sons to Harvard University. On the day of the admission banquet, I deliberately invited my in-laws. Just as I was about to take my sons to our seats, my father-in-law suddenly stopped me and said that after the boys went abroad, he and my mother-in-law would move in with me. Calmly, I told them, I've already sold the house. When they saw the contract I handed over, they were instantly furious. I explained casually that it was to cover the children's overseas expenses. They immediately demanded that I hand over the money for them to manage, but the money had already been transferred to my sons. My mother-in-law tried to argue, but my father-in-law whispered that the money was in the grandchildren's hands anyway and would eventually belong to them. Hearing this, she revealed a sly smile. As the scheduled time arrived, I stepped onto the stage to host the banquet. Right on cue, my long-gone husband appeared. The whole room was in shock, but I remained unusually calm. The mistress loudly claimed that she was the boy's real mother. My sons, stunned, turned to their grandmother for confirmation. My mother-in-law then lied, saying that I had planned the accident to harm their father. The man followed up by proposing a divorce, but what he didn't expect was that I didn't argue or make a scene. I agreed to the divorce on the spot, and even handed my ring to the mistress. Just when they thought they had won, the real show was about to begin.